think the key for innovation is empathy. That is, you understand what your customer is going through. You understand, the challenges that they're facing. You understand the Great Resignation, how that's affected them. You understand, interest rates, all these kind of things. And I'll give you a very tactical story about empathy, because a lot of times, management teams say, oh yeah, we got to empathize more. So, let's hire a marketing research firm so we can empathize with our customers. I'll tell you the opposite kind of story. And I heard it from a guy named Martin Lindstrom, who is an expert in social psychology and behavioral economics. So a large pharmaceutical company hired him to, quote unquote, get closer to the customer. How often have you heard that? Right. So they hired him to get closer to the customer, and rather than commissioning this huge market research study, what he did is he took the executives into a room and he handed out straws, and he told all the executives, now for the next couple minutes, I want you to breathe through the straw. And some of the executives couldn't even make it the couple minutes. And some of them got upset, like, why are you wasting our time? Why are we breathing through straws? And he said, you know what? Your pharmaceutical company, a lot of your customers are buying your products for asthma. This is what it's like to have asthma. It's like you're breathing through a straw. And I think that is just a great example of how you develop empathy. And from empathy, I think empathy is the start of great innovation. It's very difficult for you to ask your current customers how to truly innovate and revolutionize the business. Because most of the time, your current customers will tell you, we want something that's better, faster, and cheaper. And so to go back to the Macintosh division days, the current customer of the Apple back then was an Apple II owner. And so if you asked an Apple II owner, what would you like us to do to innovate? They would not have said, build a new computer with a mouse that has graphical user interface with absolutely no software, that I cannot use anything that I have from my Apple II on. That's not what they would have described. And so I think the genius of Steve Jobs was that he realized that people can't explain that, but based on either Steve Jobs' incredible ability to make people buy whatever he wanted to make. That's one interpretation of Steve. The other interpretation of Steve is that he truly had a fundamental visionary understanding of what people would come to realize they needed. And it's arguably one of the most frightening stories you could hear in American business. So here goes. So in 1975, an engineer at Kodak invented digital photography, right? So wrap your mind around that. Kodak invented digital photography. How many of us are using a Kodak digital camera today? Now, can you imagine that engineer going to his boss saying, I have figured out a way for people not to buy film? Well, that's what you call a career limiting move, right? And yet, if I think what Kodak was doing was it defined itself as more of a chemicals company. So we make chemicals. These chemicals turn light and silver into images. And so we have film, we have paper, we have, these chemicals. And that's how they define their business. But I think what a company has to do is step back and empathize and say, all right, so Kodak, truly, what business are you in? You're in the business of preserving memories. How are you preserving memories today? Silver, paper, film, and chemicals. Well, what if there was a better way to preserve memories? What if you could take an image instantly and see it? What if you could delete that if you didn't like it? What if you didn't have to take your, canister of film to a developer? Not even a one hour photo. I mean, you see it. Like, if you explain that to someone, who would not say, wow, that is so much better than a film. Oh my God, we should do this. But that's the problem. And one of the reasons why that's created is because of it's hard to recognize a truly successful revolution when you're starting it.